Question 10. Calculate 20% of a quarter of 180. So this is the part we need to work out first, because we need to work out 20% of the answer to this. So a quarter of 180, well, to find a quarter of a number, we half it and half it again. So 180, half of 180 would be 90, and half of 90 would be 45. So if you struggle to divide those by 2, you could do something like this. So half of 100, so pretend that 1 is 100, which that's what it represents. Half of 100 is 50, and then you can half 80 to give you 40, and then add those two together to give you 90. So half of 180 is 90, and then half of 90, well, that 9 is an odd number, isn't it? So you could half 80, half of 80 would be 40, so half the 10 below it, half of 80 would be 40, and then you need to half the remaining 10 that we'd left out. So half of the 10 would be 5. So half of 90 there would be 45. So 1 quarter of 180 equals 45. So then we have to find 20% of 45. So when we're looking at percentages without a calculator, there are a few magic little percentages to help us. To find 1%, we have to divide the number by 100. To find 10%, we divide the number by 10. And to find 50%, we divide the number by 2, or half it. So which ones of these are going to help us find 20%? Well, 10% is going to be the easiest, because I can do 10% and 10%, and that'll make 20%. So 10% and 10%, adding those up, that'll give me 20%. So how do I find 10%? I divide this number by 10. So 45 is like saying 45.0. If I divide that number by 10, this skips over one space, so it ends up being 4.5. So 10% is 4.5. So if I add those up together now, decimal, 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 5 and 5 is 10, carry the 1, 4 and 4 is 8, and 1 is 9. Or you could have said 4 and 4 is 8, a half and a half is 1, 8 and 1 makes 9. So 20% of 45 is 9. That's a 4-mark question. The examiner will give you 1 mark if you have 1 quarter of 180, and then 1 mark for your accuracy of 45, and then they'll give you 1 mark if you said 20% of 45, and 1 mark for your final answer of 9.